Deborah Kelly. Straight government shout out. Hello, hello, hello.
What's up?
Hi, good people. Hi, good people. See some
What's
new
up?
people
What's
joining
up?
in today. What's going on? What's going on?
Come on in, people. Come
That's
on
right.
in.
We welcome you.
Doors open.
A Reason for Marriage, episode 18. 18.
Yeah, episode 18.
That's right. Hey, cuz, what's going
18.
on? Kelly laughing. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, Candy Cane. Is that Alana?
What's up? What's up?
Is that Alana? That's the question. What's up, fam?
What's up?
Good night, good night.
What's up, family?
Hey. That's my girl. She was the one to match here.
Oh, yes. Okay. What's
hey,
up?
boo.
How you doing?
Hi, Kimberly. I'm doing all first names today. Poe.
Oh, that's Paul. Uh-oh.
Hey, Poe. Well, it's 6:01. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking your time out your busy Sunday watching the game,
thanks.
most likely.
Yeah, because I had to stop watching my
You
game.
sure did.
My 49ers are playing
You
right
sure
now.
did.
And I had to stop. So,
I'm glad that we
yeah.
have all the different technology that you can go ahead and catch up to it.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, so God is great. So welcome to from our newcomers for A Reason to Marriage, episode 18. Thank you all for joining us. Hi, Shonda. We appreciate you. So today's topic of discussion is how to maintain your individuality in a marriage. And I am going to let my fine husband go first.
Thank you.
Mr. Reason.
So how to maintain your individuality?
Don't get nervous 'cause I said fine.
So yeah, you make me nervous, baby.
Yeah.
First of all, it's important to keep your individuality because you don't want to marry yourself in a sense, right? When I say that, marrying yourself, when you're marrying someone, you want them to have their own ideas and opinions. You want them to have their own interests and hobbies. You want them to have their own friends. How do you do that? By continuing to do what you like to do, but also including your spouse in things you like to do as well. So we spoke about this a while back. And you keep your individuality by doing hobbies and things that are important to you. I'll give you an example with me. I work out constantly. I find physical fitness to be paramount, and it should be in anyone's life, along with eating properly. Tony is very serious about her workout and her physique and how she looks.
I see it.
But she's not as dedicated or as serious about this as I am. She's dedicated in a sense is where Tony will go more than the average person to work out, which is like 4 to 5 days a week or 4 days a week. I'm there at 5 days a week all the time. And we can't work out together because our schedules don't call for it. So she has to work out when she can. I work out when I can. But the individuality is she doesn't need to work out with me to get her workout on. She can do it without me. She can fly without me. Imagine if she needed me to work out. There would be no individuality for her. And then she would be constantly under me trying to work out with me. That wouldn't work because I may be doing different exercises that day. She may have different goals than I have. So the cool thing about working out and going to the gym is you have different goals at different times of year and different things in your life. You may want to get your legs bigger for this year. You may not be working your chest as much as you have. Tony may want to concentrate on her arms for 3 months. I may want to concentrate on my back. The point I'm making is if there was no individuality between us, she couldn't reach the goals she wants to reach, and I couldn't reach my goals either. That would become upsetting for both of us because I'm not doing what she would like me to do and vice versa. So it's important to keep that individuality by doing what you want to do. How do you keep your individuality? Again, just continue your interest in what you want to do and what you like to do. Of course, what you're doing should be respectful, to your spouse, of course. But your spouse doesn't want you up under them all day long, constantly, 24/7, believe it or not.
It's true.
If you're not an individual, then you'll want to do that, and you're dependent on your spouse for what we call happiness. So now I'm dependent on my spouse because I'm not an individual. She's making me happy in a way that's unhealthy for both of us.
That's right.
It's not healthy because there should be a happiness inside me that fulfills myself. It's great to see my wife. I like how she looks. She's a beautiful woman. She takes care of the household, etc. But I can't be up under her all day. I need my individuality. I can't say if she didn't wash the dishes at 6:30 p.m., now I'm unhappy. She's an individual, I'm an individual. Well, she may be busy doing something. Why don't I get in there and wash the dishes, right? So I can do things being an individual that can help pick up the slack if she's busy with something else. You understand? Individuality is very important. It gets much deeper than what people think. Being an individual helps you function as a human being. So it's important to have your individuality. You do that by being a critical thinker. For example, if Tony is busy, she couldn't do the dishes at 6:30. I don't like seeing dishes in the sink, so why don't I do it? I understand she may have went outside, need to take care of some business or what have you. I'll do them. That's being an individual. I'm not waiting for Tony to do what I want her to do. You understand? So now I'm fulfilling myself and the needs that I have within that time frame. So the individuality is not just for the spouse, it's for you as well. It's not just to take a burden off your spouse, it's for you as well, because you can function as a person, which is very important. If I couldn't function, my wife wouldn't want anything to do with me.
At all.
If she couldn't function, I wouldn't want anything to do with her. I don't want her to place herself on me, and now I have to guide both of us every day, all day long. I have to work. I can't be up under her. I'm an individual. So I can't stop what I'm doing to be under my woman all day long, and vice versa. She has things she needs to do throughout the day. You get what I'm saying? Be an individual. Do what you do. Do what you like to do. The way you do that is not depending upon your spouse to do everything for you. Cool to spend time together. Cool to go on dates. Cool to go to the movies. Cool to be at the crib looking at Netflix and chilling. Whatever you're doing is spend time together, but that's not all day, every day.
Right.
I have times I hang out with my peoples. I have times I hang out with family, a brother of mine, what have you. That takes a burden off my wife so she can breathe, let her hair down, and does what she needs to do. Right? She may want to get her hair done or something. Now I'm occupied. She can do that without me calling her and bothering her, being a pest. She may have a girlfriend she want to hang out with. I'm not going crazy because she's hanging out with her girlfriends. But understand, if I'm not an individual, then I'm jealous that she's hanging out with her friends. And then I'm trying to destroy those friendships that she has with her friends. And I may not even realize that I'm doing that, destroying her relationships with her people. And then her family doesn't get the time they need with her, etc. So if we go to a family function and people want to talk to Tony, they can't even talk to her properly because I'm on her back. They may want to discuss something with her that has nothing to do with me, and that's fine. But if I be a nuisance and I'm not an individual and I'm not practicing individuality by doing things that I like to do, talking to the guys separately that's in her family, then I'm on her back. I'm not being an individual. Doesn't mean you're not a couple. I think this is where the hardest part is for people. It doesn't mean you're not a couple if you're doing things individually. Okay, you're just giving each other some space to be yourself. Be yourself. It'll work better for you, your spouse, and both of y'all mentals in the long run. But I was a little long-winded with that. I'm going to let Tony take over.
Cool. That was really good. And there's a lot of comments in the comment section. Of course, your sister TT says dishes will break up a marriage. So she's glad, you participate in dishes. Because a couple of people are agreeing with you, screaming to the top of their lungs, I guess, because people deal with these issues.
Yeah, this is a real issue.
And I thought it was a really good topic. And just to add to what you said, what you made mention of Let's talk about emotional stability. When you're in a relationship, especially a marriage, I want you to sit back and take some time to think about who are you outside of that marriage, right? When you realize who you are, I mean, personal growth is a great thing, right? And it's so great that your partner feeds off of it. So when you're not an individual, when you are dependent upon your spouse and you're under them 24/7, right? Which sometimes can be annoying and nagging, right? And sometimes in relationships, that's due to past trauma because there's no trust there, right? So a lot of times people attach themselves to you to think that they can stop or prevent something because they're all around you. And that can be a nuisance. So think about who you are. Usually when you find out and you really believe in who you are, you don't have time to think about everything that your spouse is doing 24/7. Right. That individual came into your life because of who you are, right? Correct. What you represent, the hobbies that you engage in, right? The conversations that you have. And I like that you touched on that because if you think about a lot of old school relationships, and I'm just talking about family and friends that we've had among us the past 20 years, right? And a lot of times they'll say, oh, where's your husband or where's your wife? Or, and you can be in the bathroom. And I think a lot of times, well, vice versa, I can be doing something with a friend or whatever it may be and arrive a little later. I think a lot of times old school relationships, and it depends on culture, they really think that your significant other needs to be with you 24/7. But I'm here to tell you, a healthy relationship, you really, really have to be who you are. So I tell people all the time, and I like that you use the example about exercising. I exercise for me. Yes, my husband looks good and he's a fitness guru, but when me and Tobias got together, I've been in the gym 20 years. I know at times I fall off, but that's something that I want to do because I want to maintain my shape and my health and mental health and look good. So when you do things, it's good with your spouse that you, because at times we have, and you about to start back training me, right?
Yeah, it depends. A lot of factors on that, but
But anyway, when you do things, I put them on the spot so I get some witnesses. When you do things, it's good to do things together. But like Tobias said, have that time with your girlfriends. Have that time with your family members, right? Yesterday, you laughing, right, Miller? Example, I said, you know what? Let me go to my sister's house. She's right there in Delaware. I don't have to be under my husband 24/7. You understand what I'm saying? So I really want you to realize the more you grow as an individual, that's an attraction to somebody who really, really loves you and want what's best for you. But if you're under, oh, Tobias, what we're doing today. Oh, Tobias, what we're going to watch. Oh, Tobias, what we're going to eat. Like, come on, baby. I need you to get it together. So I just, really, really wanted to, I think you covered a whole lot regarding that. But, and a lot of times, I know we get a little happy and a little thirsty in the beginning stages because it's different stages when you're in relationships and you're in a marriage. But sometimes just try to maintain your composure a little bit, right? So it doesn't have to be calling and texting all day. You don't have to be every minute, everything, because what happens is sometimes we get into these relationships and we forget about those friends that we've had 20 and 30 years, right? We forget about checking on our sisters. We forget about our family, and we concentrate so much on this, and then that individual wind up leaving you or it doesn't work out, right? So you don't want to do that. You want to pour into all your relationships. Yes, someone put down, LT put down, we were lieutenants together, the clingy behavior. That can drive people. Yeah, it can be annoying, especially.
That's a part of not being an individual. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, too clingy. Like, and some people... they love the attention, but sometimes they're controlling you. It's manipulation as well. So even if, I think that is a sign too. If you have someone where you at 24/7 and that is a sign that they're trying to control you. But it's so important to be who you are as an individual. And if you don't know who you are, pray about it, right? Because sometimes you don't know who you are, right? Because you've been so consumed with being a family. You've been so consumed with being a mommy, being a boss, being a grandma, auntie. Find out who you really are, okay? And that'll really help you with your mental health. So I see we have a lot of participation from the audience, and I appreciate all the comments. All right, you have to still maintain your health. Give me an example in the comment section, and Tobias probably will add to what I'm saying. But give us an example in the comment section really quickly on what are some things that you do to maintain your individuality. What are some things you do in your relationship to still say, you know what, I'm still Siobhan. I am still Dawn. I am still Kelly. I'm still Samantha. I'm still Sabrina. I'm still Donzella. Whoever it is, Shonda. Just put something. Mommy, I know you're joining us a little late, but Mommy, put some... Shady. I am shady. Put some things there, but I love that you're here, Mommy. You know I love you. I know you're one of my biggest cheerleaders. We love you, Mommy. But yeah, put something in the comment section on how do you maintain your individuality. And Mommy, I would love to hear from you because you've been married 40 years plus, you know, and you juggled with raising 4 children and being happily married. What are some things that you did? Oh, she just got home. My girls and I get together once a month. Yes. Gotta have your ladies now.
That's good.
Titi said she was busy. We ain't talking about that kind of busy. I spend time with my friends. Yes, friendships are important. Friendships are important. Ain't nobody want to be talking to somebody. You ain't got no friends. What's wrong with you?
Right.
Okay.
That's what we call a red flag. Someone who has
Why don't
no
you have
friends
any friends
at all? Now they don't have to be all close friends.
Right.
But there's some sort of social community that a person should have.
I like what Siobhan said. We're not saying little Siobhan. We're going to say pretty Siobhan. She said the gym, church, therapy, hanging out with her siblings. Similar, for what I do.
That's
Mommy said church and going out with her friends, yes. TT, we know. TT said I stay busy. I go out with my peoples. I have a social group. Yes, Delaware Social. Shout out to Delaware Social.
Delaware Social.
Social. I pronounced it wrong too. I have hobbies. Yes, you have a life. Shows with your friends. I try to hang out with Tony from time to time. Yes, and
that's Majesty's. No. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, okay. Yeah,
my husband is so phony. I'm gonna tell y'all. He act like he remember everybody, but he know who you are, Miller.
Yeah, I know who Miller is.
Miller?
Yeah. You call her one of your little sisters.
Little honey.
Yeah, little honey. Yeah, I know who that is. With the little girl.
What's her name?
Ryan. Right?
Oh, he remembers.
I know who that is.
She cracking up.
But what I do want to drive home on this one is individuality gets so serious. It comes to the point where it mentally breaks someone down when they lose their individuality. You ever heard people that need therapy or need help from someone that is struggling mentally? They say something like this: I lost myself in this relationship. I don't even know who I am anymore. That's because they've been dependent on whatever they've been doing and they don't have individuality. So you have to practice keeping individuality. There's nothing wrong with making sure, like, I hear this from married women. I've been married for a few years. They would say, well, I lost myself taking care of the kids and the household, and I don't do anything for me. And they act indignant, and they have some right to act indignant. But at the same time, where do you take accountability for not being an individual in a relationship? You should want to do your own thing. There is time you have to make for yourself so you are continuing to be an individual. But I think it's important for them to understand the mental impact that this has on a person as well.
I agree. And one of our friends, Lexi, said, can you be a husband's mentor? So
her husband's mentor. Who's Lexi?
Okay, I'll tell you who Lexi is. I know her through TT for many years, but we'll
okay,
talk about
all right. And this is not someone that my wife is telling me I forgot, and I don't know. Okay, so anyway,
men do need support, and we'll be talking about some more services that we're going to be offering really soon.
We all need support. That's right.
Do.
Yeah.
And that's something that's big, and that's something that we touch on in the book about the support system. A lot of times we have to be very mindful of who we surround ourselves around. I know I've touched on it several times. We've touched on it several times, but you can't look for any type of support for people who are unable to help you, or they just don't have, the tools and resources to point you in the right direction. So
here's one of my quotes on that. That's something good you just brought up.
Thank you.
We have to do this as people. Stop looking for wisdom from the unwise. We have to stop that. And when you realize who's not wise, it opens up your eyes to what's happening around you and in your world. But I don't want to get too deep into that because that's a subject for another day. Okay. But I think it's probably time for the marriage mailbox.
All right, it's time. Right. Some very nosy, interesting questions today. All right. So the first question is, you want me to go first?
Yeah, absolutely. I went first. Yeah, so you go first on the question.
Okay. Mommy said, preach TBI. All right. How to handle different parenting styles. And I believe we touched on it again, but we take all questions and continue to submit all your questions via text, via DM, or put it in writing because I don't want to forget.
Send your send your questions because some people may not understand the answer to a question we've answered before in a similar fashion, right. And they may need the question tailored to them and how they understand. When you deal with people, you start to understand and figure out that sometimes people have a unique way of learning, and what works for one doesn't work for all. So we're even fine if you have a question and you feel it's similar to a question we've answered already.
Because we get some similar questions.
We'll shoot it back at you so it best fits you in your puzzle. But go ahead, babe.
All right. So again, just to answer the first question, which is how to handle different parenting styles. So I believe times have changed, which we all know. Times have changed. If we're going back to when we were children and, going back to our parents and grandparents and their parenting styles, right? I think there are many different factors, which can be, community, just surroundings, different things, mental health, so much things that, the kids, I think we've always dealt with it, but we see it even more just with the addiction, just so much going on right now. Yeah. So when we talk about parenting styles, I think it's always good to do a assessment. I'm not talking about having to go see someone, but I'm talking about what's best for your child, right? Because or if you don't know, then you do need to go ahead and step out and see a professional, but what's best for that child? Yes. My mother, it was 4 of us in the house, right? And of course, with 4, we have different, even though we have some similarities, but different personalities. Well, me and my sisters are actually, most of us are. We act pretty much alike. But most people is different personalities, right? So each child, you may have to, or you want to think about dealing with them differently. So one thing is for sure and for certain that I always stress, you have to be a unified front. Yeah. Because kids, they're smarter than us. They are. They can manipulate. I know, because my beautiful daughter, Majesty Medina, has tried it, right? Especially those little girls. And I love her dearly, but they will manipulate daddy, and probably vice versa. I don't have a son, but I have all nephews right now. And they try the manipulation. So I think it always needs to be, and I learned that from my parents, and no matter how upset I got as a teenager, because I was off the hook, but my mother and Daddy T always was a united front. So they stood their ground together. Now, I don't know what they talked about later on. Well, I used to listen, but they stood their grounds in front of us. So you have to be a united front because that team has to show with the kids. But you do have to be open, right? You got to be open and you got to be flexible of making some changes. I grew up very disciplinary. Daddy T was no joke with us. He made sure, and we needed that at that time because of the way where we were raised and what we were dealing with, and he was very straightforward. Now, with Majesty, it's a little different because she doesn't have the characteristics, or she's not doing the things that I was engaged in, right? So I don't have to wake her up at 3:00 in the morning to go wash the dishes, right? I don't have to scream at her or threaten her or put on punishment for 7 to 8 months. Oh, how you doing, mommy? Stuff like that for the whole summer. I don't have to do that, right? Because she pretty much, for the most part, listens to what I say. Now, does she play her manipulation? Absolutely. A teenager like everyone else, right? So, yeah, Daddy T raised us BCW cases. Yeah, I ain't even going to go there with that. But at the end of the day, right, your child may not need that. So you see, some children can't take the yelling, the screaming, the hitting. They just can't, right? Mentally, they're not built for it. The kids today, I'm not saying they're weaker, but they're a little different than the way we were based on where you were raised at. So I think, again, to sum up what I'm saying, be flexible, right? Always keep the united front. Be open to maybe changing. Maybe your parenting style is not working. If your kid is not receptive and they keep getting in trouble or they're not doing what you ask them to do, look for some guidance to see what can you do. Yes, that's it, Davis. Way more sensitive, right? And they just respond differently. And I don't know if it's the games, the social media, whatever it may be, but they are more sensitive. So we just really need to be mindful of that. But I strongly believe you have to have a united front. And some things that is just not negotiable, like non-negotiable. Like when it comes to respect, you both should be on the same page regarding what that child is doing and how they conduct themselves. When it comes to discipline, I can't be the one to be like, oh no, don't do that. And then somebody else is going upside the head. Like we have to be on the same accord with that. Certain things I think you have to be, on the same page with.
Yeah. I think you mentioned something that's golden. You said you have to know what your child needs. You as a parent should know what your child needs to excel and be successful at anything. What's included in that success is obeying the parental guidance in the household. The parental guidance only works when there is a front, a stand your ground between you and your spouse. So your child may need things cut for them. They may need a type of discipline that differed from when you were coming up. Like Tony said, that's so golden. You have to understand your child. It's your job to understand your child and your household. But I think the most successful way to go about parenting as a couple that have different ideas and thoughts and opinions of the route the child should go for success, whatever the success may be. The success may be doing the laundry, chores, it could be taking the garbage out in those chores. Mm-hmm. It could be whatever you find to be successful. I think you and your spouse should have an understanding on what you guys would like done with the child or what the child should be doing. Mm-hmm. I think when you have an understanding of what each other thinks, you can better go about the direction a child needs to go or disciplining a child. Mm-hmm. I know Tony is not going to body slam Majesty. Why? Because Majesty doesn't need that. Majesty doesn't need to be body slammed to listen to her mother. Now, will she try to challenge her by coming to me and asking me something when she asks her mother something? Yeah, she'll try that, but that's much less than it used to be when she was a little person. So she understands certain things that she does is not going to fly with both of us. Mm-hmm. But there may be these new things because she is becoming an older teenager that she's experiencing for the first time. Mm-hmm. What I mean by that is she goes to her high school football games now. That's different. She's never been to high school football games because she was never in high school. Mm-hmm. So now we have to reevaluate what we think about taking her to her football games for her school that she likes to attend. Mm-hmm. So we have to be on the same page. If there's a reason Tony wouldn't allow her to go, I should understand that and be like, yeah, I don't think that's the best thing to do. So that's just a quick hit on parenting with different parenting styles with your child. But I think the most important point is what Tony brought up. You have to understand the type of child you have. Do you have a slick child, a conniving child? What type of child? And you have to keep it real with yourself. This is the type of child I have, and this is how I'm going to go about the disciplinary style I'm going to use with the child. But that was long-winded. It wasn't short. I said it was short. It was long-winded, but let's move on. I apologize for that.
And we had a lot of comments in the comment section, but people were agreeing with us, and we appreciate all the feedback. So let's get into our last question. Yeah. I know we pressed for time, but it's okay if we go a little over today.
But the 49er game on today, it ain't really.
Oh, so
it's
we
on right now.
Through.
Yeah,
okay. How to keep intimacy alive when you both are always tired due to your careers? You want me to go first?
Yeah. No, you just went first. I'll go first. It looked like you want me to go
I
first.
sure do.
Tony spoke about something a long time. Well, she spoke about something when we had our conference that we went to for marriage. We were at the table talking to people about marriage, and Tony said something very important. She said, you should be attracted to your spouse some sort of way or another. But Tony said it as where you should be attracted to your spouse. I understood where Tony was coming from. The attraction, I think the physical attraction draws you into a person. But then you find other things attractive about a person. It could be the way the person talks. It could be the way the person moves. It could be the person's swag. It could be the way the person thinks, right? You just like the way the person is with being them. I think there has to be some sort of attraction for you to lose sleep and have that intimacy from being busy all day and still come home and want that intimacy with your spouse. Listen, the name of the game is to be busy. That's the name of the game, because an idle mind is a devil's playground.
Come on.
That's the adage. So if you're not busy, what are you thinking about? Is it easier for you to run around out there? Is it easier for you to do the wrong things out there? Is it easier for you to be manipulated? So the thing is that you should be busy, right? A person that's constructive is usually busy. A successful person is usually busy. So there should still be that appetite for your spouse. And what leads to that appetite is attraction. So there's an attraction that should still be there even when you're tired. Think about when you first meet someone, when you're first dating someone, you're having sex. Doesn't mean you weren't tired. Doesn't mean you weren't working all day. Doesn't mean you didn't have things to do. But you want that person. You have an appetite for that person.
Come on with the appetite.
So you're going to lose an hour of sleep or so to do what needs to be done, satisfying yourself and your spouse. The sex, the connection with a person being while you're busy is, you have to think about it as you're not just satisfying the person, but you're satisfying yourself as well. When you don't want to have relations or sex with your spouse, you're looking at it like you're just satisfying the spouse and you're not getting anything out of it. That's when the sex and the sexual relations stop, because you think you are just giving someone else gratitude or sexually pleasing someone else, and you're not reciprocating on that. That's what happens, and that's how we call being busy stops us from having intimacy. But I could go on and on about that. Go ahead, man.
So David said, go ahead, Mr. Reason, dropping jewels.
Oh,
All right, so I'm going to touch on it really quickly, and I'm going to break it down, but I like the way you answered that, Boo. So first of all, like TT mentioned, Geritol. So we got to take care of ourselves. That's number one. So I understand
you mentioned Geritol?
Yeah, vitamins, and I agree with it.
So
whether you have to, and she may need the stronger doses,
but
we're all different.
Yeah, she's right.
Yeah,
so
she's pregnant.
Oh, she's pregnant. So she may need that.
That was the way for him to keep it secret.
Iron. She may need that iron in her body. Yeah. Okay.
Like I was saying, whether it's Geritol, whatever type of supplements that you take, herbs, vitamins, whatever it may be, you have to take care of yourself, right? So intimacy, that is a priority when you have your spouse, when you're in a marriage, right? And like you said, idle time is the devil's playground. You don't give the devil the opportunity to get in your relationship, okay? TT said shut up. So that being said, take care of yourself to see, why are you so tired? If this is the person that you're attracted to, this is the person that you said I do, you are obligated. You have a duty as a husband and wife to make sure that you make time to make that a priority. So take care of yourself. Sometimes we need to go ahead and exercise. We need to go ahead and do some walking. You can walk 30 minutes a day, or maybe go ahead and get you your annual physical that you may have been missed out on to see exactly, get your blood tests to see exactly what's going on with you. You have to make it a priority. Even if I don't want to go to setting times, You know, someone mentioned about watching television. Some people like me, I'll fall asleep if I even watch TV if I'm already tired. But you make it, if you are attracted to the individual that you make it a priority to know that, one, I'm not in every relationship, but usually it was something in the bedroom that made you really, you have this connection with this person. I'm not saying that's how you got them, but you need to, or vice versa, but you need to make sure, like Mr. Reason said, that you're playing your part. You're making sure that you're doing your job, right? And it's not a job. It should be pleasure for each of you, that you're handling your business, all right? And I'm not going to go too far into it because I know we're, you know, for our time today, but we all have needs, right? As individuals. Absolutely. And you don't want to give anyone an opportunity when we are lacking our needs and somebody else creeps into your relationship, okay? So you have to handle your business. That's husband and wife. And I think you got to be really straightforward. That open, you hear me talk about communication all the time. Like, it's a problem. You sleep all the time. Or it's a problem. Let's talk about, if it ain't working at night, you may want to try it in the morning. Whenever it may be, but you got to make it a priority. Or maybe in the afternoon, wherever it may be. I don't get involved with people's relationships regarding intimacy, but you have to make it a priority, and it's very important. Yeah. So we're at our time today. Yeah. Thank you all. We appreciate all the great feedback. Thanks for coming out. A couple of announcements.
Thanks for the participation.
I did post, very excited for our 20th episode, which will be October 20th. The 21st is a special day, my birthday. But the 20th, we will be having Jamie and Arena from Love and Marriage DC. They will be our special guests. They've been married 28 years. They're the big bro and big sis. They're going to share the podcast with us that day. So I want you to go ahead and submit some questions for our marriage mailbox. I am going to open it up so they can answer questions that day. We have a lot going on. Just as a reminder, the book will be dropping pretty soon. I'll let you know, of course, in advance the actual date of the release. But make sure you're checking your emails. Make sure you have signed up and subscribed to our website and YouTube, because again, we are moving from this platform on Instagram and we are going to YouTube. A lot of things are going on and it's moving very quickly. Appreciate your support. Appreciate your feedback. Keep the marriage mailbox going. And
don't forget to comment if you look at the episodes on the YouTube channel. Oh, yeah. You know, remember, that's also interactive as well. So you can still have comments that you want to put into the conversation. But that's all I have. That business degree, that background. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. All right, so that's our time for today. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Yeah, thanks for coming out. Thanks for coming out. God bless. See you.